cultural heroes past. Today, we will attempt to establish the links between the pioneering work of the Fela Kutis, Hubert Ogundes, Olu Jacobs, Ike Manor. Commendation for raising such a cerebral and distinguished panel of discussants has to go to the organizers of this most significant event. I therefore have no hesitation in declaring ahead of time that participants at this summit are about to be enlightened and empowered to engage Nigerian creative community in a mutually beneficial relationship that will further consolidate our standing on the global stage. And that said, I would like to, we have already been introduced. You know that seated next to me is the legendary Nigerian actor, Mr. Richard Mofe Damijo. And next to him, Idris Onorunde, Temple Productions. So it would appear what we do not have here is someone from the music industry, but Temple Productions used to do music. You're still doing music. Okay, great. So we can now get it up and going. Lee is on air. Lee is joining us virtually from Canada. And where are you, Lee? Is Lee able to communicate with us? Okay, this is working now. Great. Is Lee able to communicate with us? Well, okay, I have set the parameters for what we're going to talk about. Let's just go straight into the opportunities that present themselves. I would have thought he would have come. It's 5 minutes away, so he will join us. Great. Lee, okay, Lee, hi. Lee has directed a couple of movies that I have featured in. So Lee, hi, how are you? Okay, if you can kill your volume there on your device. All right, so gentlemen and ladies, the Nigerian industry has found something. I would not to call it a renaissance would be a misnomer because we've never had it this good. So I would like for RMD to proffer what he thinks was responsible for this explosion of Nigerian pop culture and what we did right that brought us to this place.
Okay. I think that Nigerians are the reason why we exploded. We told stories that are for our people, from our people, for our people. We told stories that we all could relate to. It looked like ordinary stories at the time when it started, but we piggybacked on what had been established on NTA. So by the time Nollywood was officially introduced as finished plays or finished TV drama or finished TV films on CDs and tapes, it was a question of just exporting what the people were used to from Village Headmaster and the rest, Masquerade and all of them, onto a form where they don't have to time what is happening on TV. They can sit back in their living rooms and just like they used to watch wrestling or whatever foreign other films that they could watch on their devices, they could then watch Nollywood on their own devices. And that was what was primarily responsible for the explosion of Nollywood in the industry.
Okay, so we'll go to the man from Temple Productions. Temple Productions has invested quite a bit of money already into Nigerian talents. So So I would just like to ask, especially in the music industry, so how can a corporate investor tap into the abundant talents that we have, especially in the music industry? How does it work out, given the new format of music production and marketing?
So, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me. Apologies for coming late. Schedule said we were starting at 4 p.m. So I thought I came early actually. Please forgive me. So, the first thing is that there's a demand. We all agree that there's a demand. Now, in the past, the challenge was with infrastructure, that we didn't have competing infrastructure to be able to make the same quality of audio productions that obtained everywhere else in the world. Well, that's no longer an excuse. Now, in terms of our population size, our youth demography, and the fact that, okay, Afrobeat, as we know, don't blow, there's still a huge demand. Now, the band always said, maybe since about 10 years ago, that content is the new crude. So what it means is that that end product that we make, maybe it's a movie starring R&B and Mr. Doyle, or a music video that was shot in the studios of Mr. Damijo, it is bankable. So what it means is, by putting your money in it, you own something that's tangible. And I mean, piracy is still a challenge, but because the marketplace is digital, so all of these things also have their digital IDs. So it has even made it more difficult for you to copy it and copy it in the way that our forebears suffered. So there's the opportunity, there's the demand, and there are the people like us who are willing and able to use your money wisely for you and to get you the best product and to also look after it for you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ayo Animashaun of, amongst other things, he's the CEO and chairman of HIP TV. HIP TV is a music channel. HIP TV is a music channel, and your channel is on the DSTV platform and several other platforms around the world, right?
Yes, sir, correct.
Okay, so Ayo, you have a grounding in the music industry and in broadcasting. So maybe just give us an overview of how you engaged in that space and how it has become, for you, it is a profitable thing, and how can you advertise the profitability of the Nigerian music industry for you, for instance, a broadcaster, and which other ways can it be? Can we get our brothers in the diaspora to engage and, collaborate with you?
Okay, first of all, I'd like to say I apologize for being the last person to come on stage, but I was the first person, the very first person to get here this morning, so I took a break. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, thank you very much for your question. You see, what we prayed for many years ago, we are happy to see happen during our time. I remember many years ago, the artists, they were not even known across the country, just only a few of them were known across the country. Now, some of our artists are selling big shows around the world, and it didn't just happen. It was with a lot of intentionality. And this started happening a long time ago. People would remember 5, 6 years ago, 7 years ago. But then I remember 1999, all the way in South Africa, when there was a Kora Awards, and
2020 was Best African Artist, and also Channel O Award when they had like 28 categories for Africa, and our artist won 14 out of the 28 categories. It's been a very, very hectic and difficult journey. For me, I started with a magazine, a songbook with lyrics that I started hawking myself, from Ikeja under to Oshodi, and other places. Then it became a national thing. I sold the magazine across the country. Then promoting music, and there were only a few channels. I remember Live Beat, and a few channels that were actually actively promoting our songs. Right now, the major thing is that these artists are around the world. You don't have to do much, thanks to technology, thanks to internet, thanks to streaming. We've passed the era of the Alaba market when an artist will release an album, in the form of CDs, sell 50,000 copies, sell 1 million copies, and the marketers will say it sold 50,000 copies. Now you release your songs globally. We're also lucky to have international record labels. We have Sony Music, Empire Music, Universal Records, and a lot of them, signing our artists. That way they are earning, foreign currency, and they are performing, and they're helping them promote their songs and putting in millions and millions of dollars, behind, their music, investing in them. Now, how do we push more? How do we push more, and how do you guys in the diaspora help the artists in Nigeria? The opportunities are massive. We need you guys in the diaspora there's so many artists that will never be as good and as talented as either Olamide or Wizkid or Davido, but they will never, unfortunately, hit the limelight. I see them every day. They will never hit the limelight if we do not have more people investing in them, more people, interested in them, more people putting in money in the entertainment industry. And we can't always all depend on the international record labels, because there's so much they can do. But with streaming, with the fact that we put our music out there and it goes out there, there are like small, little record companies. Sorry, not so big record companies around the world. I remember when Empire started, they were not so big, but they are big on Afrobeats now. They are the ones that signed Ashake, Empire Music is on Ashake, Olamide is on Ashake. The whole YBNL team, they're on Empire Music. And we need more record labels like that, and we need Africans in the diaspora, Nigerians in the diaspora, to champion this cause. We see that when these guys go out there and they perform at shows, people sing along, and your friends that are from other countries also escort you to their shows. They sell out big venues around the world, and they will sell more shows across the world than they do in Nigeria. And we need more help from you guys to invest in the talent that we have in Nigeria, so that we can further. You are using the word help, and we would like to help the people in the diaspora by giving them viable, profitable, and bankable ideas on how to engage the Nigerian music industry from where they are. So if anybody's going to be doing, I'm just saying that we're not looking for help. What we want to tell them is how can they do, in what ways can they engage the music industry in Nigeria?
Oh, partnership. Okay, I'll give an example. When we went to the Eddies, we had the Eddies in the US, and especially in Atlanta. The last two editions of the Eddies we had in Atlanta, and we had.
Yeah, sorry. I just remembered we have somebody in Canada. I mean, is he in Canada? Where is he? Is it? Okay, right. Okay. You have directed some very, very bankable Nigerian motion pictures in the recent past. So can you just, but you are also a member of the diaspora community, but I see you here more often than I think the people see you in Canada. So just for the purposes of this event and the audience that we have, can you just tell us how you got engaged with the Nigerian motion picture industry and how sell it to your diaspora audience? How is it that you seem to be more successful here you are more successful here than the chances that you'll be able to create for yourself in Canada. So talk about that, talk to that.
Okay, all right, so this is just to add to what Uncle Richard has initially said. I think what has happened is that first we found more cost-effective ways to use technology to improve our production values, and that is the reason why you have the Netflix, the Amazons and all of that coming here. But primarily, it was because we cared so much about the authenticity of our stories, telling our stories the way we wanted to tell them. But now understanding that with the use of technology, accessibility to better production tools, we can leverage on that and do something at scale. So the last, 2 films that I've been involved in with Netflix is currently Lishabi and Jagagum. They did huge, massive numbers. They grew the subscriber base of Netflix. And even when we did our partnership with Amazon Prime, there was a lot of significant rise there. And this is largely because they now found these products that they thought were good for global consumption that we could use. For People's Diaspora, what is important to note is that Nigeria we can think about this strictly like manufacturing, a business where, the raw talents are here and we find a way to make all this work and then we can sell. If we do not have proper distribution outside Nigeria, we're not going to be a sustainable industry. The poverty and the economic, worries in the country doesn't really help that much in helping people, in making people commit that much to our work. But we know that there is hunger for it. So if I was in that, I would be thinking, how can I leverage on technology to make some of the films that are being made here accessible? Also, the other one that I think people should think about is, can you come and invest back here to actually create content? And the content doesn't even have to be completely Nigerian content. We have all the space, the land, we have, more capable hands. Some of the big science fiction films in the world are shot in Morocco, some are shot in Kenya, some are shot in different parts, Rwanda, of Africa. There's no reason why we cannot have international productions leveraging. And everyone is excited about film villages and, renting huge warehouses where they can build sound stages. If I had some money in diaspora and I was looking for, more financially sustainable ways of creating production, even for, an international market, then I can think about coming to Nigeria, work with some filmmakers here, get land, work with the government and bring some of those productions. When you bring those productions, you empower the people. Naturally they take some of all that learning and all that experience and it automatically grows their industry. Another key area that people abroad should explore is animation. Animation is powerful and we are one of the leaders of animation in the country. Animation is powerful because what you really need is just people. It doesn't require that much physical things moving around. You can actually be running an animation studio in Nigeria, you don't even live in Nigeria. All the animators can be working remotely if you're willing to invest in an animation. So the animation is very international. You can make an animation that services North America, that services Europe. You don't even have to make an animation that is based on just Nigerian stories. You can find stuff that can service even the game market, like in Canada, for example. So those are like ways I would think about people in diaspora investing in the country.
Thank you very much. Now, let me just, for the benefit of everybody here, the Nigerian box office as of September 2024 has grossed about 5 billion naira. And this 5 billion naira, before now, foreign films that were exhibited in Nigeria accounted for a majority of the box office. But as we speak right now, Nigerian film titles account for 50.4% of the Nigerian box office. So that means that as of the end of September, Nigerian films have grossed in the box office meaning the cinemas, have grossed 2.5 billion naira. And this is largely due to the good work of actors such as RMB. But RMB, you were lead in the Black Book, and from the matrix, from the analytics we've gotten from Netflix, it is said that Black Book was probably the most successful Nigerian African film on Netflix. Okay, sorry, African. I was on Black Book also. So there. So, but what I'm saying here is that we have that motion picture was done in Nigeria, and it was done, and it has become a reference point even at Netflix, and they point to it, and that is like a pointer to how good the Nigerian motion picture industry can go. What is, if you were going to make a pitch to someone because to do something like that, especially people in the diaspora, what would you tell them, and how can they key into the success of a motion picture like the Black Book?
Okay, so let me just first say that nobody is coming to save us. And so the work, nobody's coming. The only people that will come are the ones that are here today, the diaspora. It's like a reserve team that you call when you have a problem. The power of the diaspora is so underrated that if you do not begin to celebrate meetings like this and what Dr. Abike Dabiri has done, and what everybody else who is making sure that the diaspora is doing what it's doing today, we will lose it. The partnership is already happening. In fact, when you were quoting the figures of the Nigerian film industry up until September, I can tell you here that by June next year, from January to June next year, we will surpass the entire monies that has been done for this year. The reason being that a lot more diasporan people are beginning to cooperate with us. We are in production meetings right now with a lot of diasporan Nigerians who are ready to invest as a result of the success of Black Book. We shot Black Book with almost $1 million when we did it. And because of the success, the minute we got our first payment from the streamers, we paid back all our investors. And so they are the ones who were even ready for us to do it too before Netflix even talked about it. Now, what's the point I'm making here? The point here is, once we begin to build trust between our businesses here and our brothers and sisters in the diaspora, the exponential growth that we are seeing at the tech level and all of that will begin to filter down into agriculture, into real estate, into everything else. I know that because of how fintech is, it is probably the most visible right now. So we are celebrating unicorns and all of that with all the new valuations that are going on, and Flutterwave, Piggyvest and co. But you can multiply what is happening in those sectors to other sectors. How are we going to be able to convert what is happening with music, what is happening, in the film industry, what is happening with agri? I am so delighted these days when I see young people say, I'm a farmer, because you can sit in Lagos or wherever place and just moan from morning till night that nothing is happening. that there is no growth anywhere in this country, there's nothing going on. But there's just so much more going on. What needs to be done is to harness. But I'd like to put a small component which I do not want us to miss. There's a tendency to always talk about making money and opening new frontiers. But let us not forget that when you are dealing with the creative sector, there is a component that is part of our culture. The creative sector in every place in the world, every place else in the world, is a responsibility by the palace. When I say the palace, I mean government or kings or queens, just like we used to have commissions in those days. Whilst we are thinking about all this partnership, the Diaspora Commission must begin to also make sure that there is a little component for development. Because if we miss that, then we will be missing a foundational thing. We need to always have that small percentage that is grants for people in the creative sector. Because like they will always say, you will find that in the UK, in Canada, there is always fund. There is always funding, all kinds of grants for the development of the arts. Even in America, in the heart of Hollywood, you will still find that there are musical grants and all of that, so that you can begin to, you can continue to develop orchestral music, jazz, those art forms that are not wholly commercial in their expression. So I don't want us to miss that component as we talk about, profits and partnerships with.
Okay, there's one more person who's in the. Yes. Who is?
We call on him.
Yes.
Foster.
First. Foster. Can we see Foster and speak with Foster?
Hello.
There you are, Foster. Now, Foster, I understand you are a
Good morning.
You are a Hollywoodian.
Yes, sir.
All right, so please, why up to the few engagements that we've had with Hollywood, with mainstream Hollywood, has been at the instigation of Nigerian producers. For instance, a very famous American actor acted on 93 Days. That would be, I forget his name now, Danny Glover. He came to Nigeria to take part in the film here. If we even go back to antiquity, there was a film called Countdown at Kusini, which was shot in Nigeria, and it had the man from Mission Impossible. You remember the man in Mission Impossible? He starred in that movie, which was shot in Nigeria. And I'm talking about in the 70s. So we have been the ones who have been instigating Hollywood to collaborate with Nollywood. Now, is Hollywood ready to initiate that interaction at this time? The same way that the American music industry, the Black American music industry, seems to be very, very eager to engage our musical icons.
Right. Well, I agree, but I think Hollywood is always ready to engage in any area that can be profitable. From listening this morning and knowing what I know and what I've experienced from working with a few Nigerian directors here and where the industry is at, I think the gentleman that just on the panel that spoke about investments and grants and government support, I think that's very important. But it seems to me that education is a big part of it too. In educating the Black and African diaspora around the world, because Hollywood, as we know, has been controlled by non-Black people for many years since its existence. And with technology and everything that is happening today, I think that we need to take more pride and feel better about what we can do, what we control, what we can control, our creativity, our stories, and not try to be white, not try to compete with white people, but understand our power. What you speak about the music industry, how Afrobeats and these things have become part of pop culture, for lack of a better expression, right? That's because they don't think about trying to please anybody. They're doing their art. So I think that if we as filmmakers and as storytellers, investors, if we just have confidence in our stories, because we have so many. Black people control the music business right now, for the most part, hip hop and Afrobeats. That's been for years. You know, for many years they said American black films wouldn't sell internationally. That's why you never had the Denzels, the Will Smiths, and the Morgan Freemans prior to the last 25, 30 years. Before that, because I mean, I'm 72 and I've been making movies my entire life. I've supported filmmakers here in Hollywood my entire life, so I've seen the change. And for me, I think that investors in Africa, investors in America need to understand that entertainment is green. Education is power. We have to feel good about ourselves, we have to invest in ourselves, and we have to market to ourselves. When they first started selling rap music, they weren't trying to sell it to white people. These were guys making music in the bedroom, at their mama's apartment, in the garage, and they were going out and selling it out of the corner, trunk of their cars and on the street corners. And now, white people all around the world are buying hip hop music. So I think you have to be confident in who you are, not try to be and compete with somebody else. There's enough money around the world
I got you.
For the African and African American film industries to join and be totally successful. But we have to come together as a people. We have to market to each other. We have to stop trying to be spread out. Stop trying to be Warner Brothers and Universal.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
We have that power. We can be that, but we have to build it from within.
Okay, thank you very much.
That's all I got to say.
All right, we're about to round this up, so I just will not. I want to go around the panel right now. Temple Productions. If you were to want to, is there anything that you would have wanted to engage with anybody outside of Nigeria? How? Very, very quickly.
Okay, so quickly, I'm the Temple Management Company, Temple Productions in Egoboy. So before I get a letter from our lawyers. So yes, I mean, it's very simple. Where should you put your money, diaspora? I think we have a very balanced relationship. We need you and you need us. We have three deficits: infrastructure, skill, and talent. Talent pipeline.
You say skill or skill?
Skill.
Okay.
So, I mean, we find that we have good people doing good stuff, but we need more. How many internationally trained or that level of expertise gaffers do we have in the industry? How many sound recordists do we have that have gone through the proper process, that they just learn from assisting on set? So we need that. We can do it through exchanges. For those of you who are participating in our industry, you can come. We have the Giddy Creative Center that we run. So I mean, there's so much. So little.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, so let me say, animation. Is there anything you want to?
Yeah, what I would say is that we've not milked the propriety of our music enough.
Last year, Afrobeats generated over $345 million streaming, and I'm not talking about all the streaming platforms. Spotify and another platform generated over $345 million. We are very big on concerts. The artists make a lot of money on concerts, but there's just only one festival in the world that represents Afrobeat, Afro Nation, and is owned by Live Nation. So we don't own any world-class streaming platform. We don't own the only first music festival in the world, and we have so many talents across the continent. So we need to do more. We need Africans in the diaspora to help to partner with us so that we can create more festivals for Afrobeat. There's so much money that's not being made now, and may not be made if we don't do more in owning, especially the infrastructure and the processes of making money big.
So there's an opportunity for people in the diaspora to come together and organize festivals where Afrobeat music can be
concert management.
Afro Nation is not wholly owned by Live Nation. So my Tunde Falaoyo owns part of it. Tokwela Wani's Helios owns part of it.
I know that. I know that's the Live Nation part of it. That's the Afro Nation part of it. But I'm talking about Live Nation. Live Nation is owned by.
All right, we're about to round up right now, and the long and short of it is that please, I would like for people who want to do some micro investments, setting up a YouTube movie channel that's a low-hanging fruit for people in the diaspora. The average cost of to set up a YouTube movie channel and the returns on the investment are huge. I urge you to research the return on investment on YouTube channels, and the cost of producing YouTube movies is like about 10% of the cost of a blockbuster. And so that is something that I would ask people in the diaspora to look at. It's a very low-hanging fruit with relatively small investments in terms of what you need to put out.
He mentioned something that is very important. He said, you need us, we need you. Some of all of this is going on already. The diaspora, at least I'm working with a few of them already. Recently, a friend of mine just left 2 days ago. She came from Maryland. She's not even Nigerian. She is from Cameroon. She came to shoot YouTube movies. So a lot of people are already coming and trying to invest. The issue is the trust issue. Some of them have been burnt, and because they've been burnt, they don't want to come back. So the prayer is that if you're coming to this sector, please don't be in a hurry to start with everybody that comes to you first to say they can build something with you. Look for the people, the arrowheads who are there, and ask them. Look for character references before you throw your money in.
Great advice.
You can work with the Diaspora Commission, because what happens is that it is only when they have been burnt that we get the phone calls and they say, oh Andy, you know this guy, I gave him over $20,000 and he hasn't submitted films to me. Because we've had reports like that, and that's very discouraging.
Okay, so that we can throw that to the NITCOM, for NITCOM to be like a vetting agency for people who want to interact with people. And NITCOM, you know that I'm here, and if you need any information about people in my industry, I will give it to you straight up.
Thank you so very much, everybody on this panel. Please, let's appreciate them. And there's a point I want to make before we close. The entertainment industry impacts every single sector of the economy, every one of them. You're making a film, you're depending on energy, manufacturing, petroleum, you're depending on agriculture, you're depending on hospitality, every sector whatsoever. Fashion, everything. You have to have costumes, you have to have makeup, you have to build sets. So really, it is.
You just mentioned something. Those of you who are in real estate, practically all, because we do not have sound stages, most of our films are shot in shotlets, owned by a lot of you who will stay abroad. So the film industry is keeping your shotlet business alive and doing well.
Thank you so, so very much. Nollywood, Hollywood, everyone. Okay, question. Oh,
yeah. Not a question, but essay. Said she has the solution to what you just said. Why can't we have, all over the world, have our artists come together in one place, in the diaspora, which is what you have said, and we are ready, Bitcom, to work with you. In fact, we are ready to set this into a team, if you don't mind.
We'll work with her, Essie.
Essie says she has a solution. Come and tell them. It's 20 years. She says she is the solution to everything you have said.
Yeah.
So, you can call me Fiam from now on because I provide quick solutions to Nigerian problems. So I've noticed we have a lot of Nigerians and when someone does something, most people want to break into the market as well. But then it's harder for you to break into the market when some particular people are already in the market. So, and it's really difficult to reach top-end institutions that provide entertainment. For example, if I want to reach someone like Davido or Whiskey to come for a show, it's so difficult to reach these people and it's so hard to find their managers and all those things unless you go through so many places. So why don't we have a platform where these institutions are registered on? And to know that you're serious, you have to pay a particular fee to set up a meeting with them. That way, it is easier for the Nigerians, the mass, to get access to these people, but they can't get access to you if they don't have the funding or the ideas. And people on the app, and we, the back-end people, can manage and vet them before getting them to you. So the producers, like you people, distinguished, can so that the distinguished here can easily okay, I've said what I want to say.
Okay, you set up a distillery where you distill.
Have a platform where we vet them, but then we vet them so that you get the clean people and they come to you and you're able to pick those talents.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we really need to wrap it up. Yeah, is that all? Okay. We still have the pitching session on entertainment sector. Okay, picture. All right. Once in a lifetime opportunity. We have the president of Actors Guild, the Abuja chapter in the room. Is he still here? Mr. Emmanuel, come on, please.